Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store for such products like the Blue Yeti microphone, affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is $3 Theater, and Star Wars: The Last Jedi is pretty much like two big divisive moments in it. And since one of those stars, Carrie Fisher, were not able to get her words on the event in question, all we're really left with now is asking, what does Mark Hamill think about his portrayal of Luke Skywalker in Rian Johnson's Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi? Which is a mouthful. And again, this entire thing involving Luke Skywalker was pretty much one of my key criticisms with the film, and it still is, the way that it was handled, everything else. But what does Mark think about it? Well, take a look at this clip.
I said to Ryan, I said, Jedis don't give up. I mean, even if he had a problem, he would maybe take a year to try and regroup. But if he made a mistake, he would try and right that wrong. So right there, we had a fundamental difference. But it's not my story anymore. It's somebody else's story. And Ryan needed me to be a certain way to make the ending effective. That's the crux of my problem. Luke would never say that. I'm sorry. Well, in this version, see, I'm talking about the George Lucas Star Wars. This is the next generation of Star Wars. So I almost had to think of Luke as another character. Maybe he's Jake Skywalker. He's not my Luke Skywalker, but I had to do what Ryan wanted me to do because it serves the story well. But listen, I still haven't accepted it completely, but it's only a movie. I hope people like it. I hope they don't get upset. And I came to really believe that Ryan was the exact man that they needed for this job.
Yeah, right? Like, and he's saying it at an official press junket with the Last Jedi poster behind him and everything. Now, look, this particular clip has been making its way around. There's been other clips of Mark kind of downplaying the movie itself on the night before its release at the actual world premiere. There was the whole cast was on stage after the premiere, and someone caught a glimpse of Mark Hamill's face while Rian Johnson is talking, and you just see this look of bewilderment on his face. You see this look of just kind of, wait, what did I just watch? Now, granted, we have absolutely zero context as to what Mark Hamill was thinking, and ultimately, Mark Hamill is not going to be telling us anything about what he was thinking in that moment or at this point attacking the film. Now, what he's essentially saying in regards to this particular clip is that, yes, he fundamentally disagreed with every single thing Rian Johnson wanted to do with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, but it isn't his movie. He's not writing it. He's not producing it. He's not directing it. He is merely an actor. An actor is just a vessel for a character to come through. But it is, and let's be fair, absolutely fundamentally fair here, Luke Skywalker is one of the most important characters in pop culture, in literary history, in the past 100 years. I mean, or you could even argue of all time in terms of pop culture relevance. People know who Luke Skywalker is. There's a story that Mark Hamill posted that was posted to Twitter about a young boy dying of cancer who wanted to meet Luke Skywalker. Somehow he was able to get in contact with Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill met the boy as Luke Skywalker, answered questions as Luke Skywalker, and very, very, very much played the part. And this is something you could tell that he wanted to do. You could tell that he ultimately loves playing Luke Skywalker, and the handling of the character, most importantly his demise, is just, again, it's frustrating because from an audience perspective, there are so many things that we have questions on. There were so many things that were left up to the imagination, and here's the sad truth. So many people out there are defending this by saying, well, it's just Star Wars doesn't care if you like it. Star Wars doesn't care if you care. Star Wars is moving beyond. And it's like, yeah, fine. Move beyond. It's fine if you want to move beyond. It's totally okay if you want to take things in a new direction. All that we ask for is just proper handling of the characters. And Luke Skywalker was a grumpy old hermit who ran away and hid. Even that's something Mark Hamill himself was like, Luke would never do that. That's why he says, I don't feel like I was playing Luke Skywalker. I was playing like Jake Skywalker. Like somewhere inside of Padme's uterus was a third twin. You know what I mean? Like a third child that came out, and it ended up over in another place somewhere. It ended up on Octu being raised by those nuns, and that's basically what it is. And that's essentially how he portrayed the role. And he's admitting it. I mean, which clearly tells you he gives zero craps about working with Disney again. He's locked and loaded on anything Joker related until the end of time. He probably is just frustrated. He's come out and said before that he's disappointed that Disney did not take Lucas's suggestions for episode 7, 8, and 9 to heart the way he wanted to finish telling the story. Now, if you look at the idea of Luke Skywalker, ultimately Luke Skywalker is a deity. Okay, he is. He's a deity. Anakin being born of midichlorians to his mom, no father, clearly Christ-like, clearly this is what's happening. I get it. And there is a commentary about there being legends, the legend of Luke Skywalker, and that he could not live up to the legend. Again, an interesting theory in nature, but the way that it was explored on screen, or should I say the lack of the way it was explored on screen, had no, and I mean no, emotional impact at all to the character. And you know what? Not only do fans recognize that, even though there's petitions now asking that the movie gets stricken from canon. I made the joke on Twitter myself that JJ pitched the story for episode 9, and it's really just Finn's fever dream is what episode 8 is. Because they're moving away from the fantasy aspect of it and trying to go more into being a sci-fi movie. Even though the entire concept of Star Wars is something that's pretty much wholeheartedly ripped from like Lord of the Rings hero's journey, and it's meant to be like more of a space western, but this is trying to move away from the fantasy myth. I don't know. I just feel like they mishandled the character. And when the actor who's played the role for 40 years ultimately comes out and makes very similar claims, it very much validates what the fans are already thinking. Now, Mark Hamill himself has come out on Twitter and made the claim like, "Oh, Rian Johnson's my muse. Rian Johnson's my favorite," and it felt like such a disingenuous tweet. Like, I understand he's trying to be supportive of the movie. He wants, overall he's an actor. Overall he understands it, but it's like you could tell he also didn't care for it. And even though people are saying like this was like one of Mark Hamill's best performances, I'd kind of like to ask where. Was it when he had a grimace look on his face? Was it when he was sucking down on the green teat juice of some weird creature? Was it when he never, the really horrible CG on his face when he was trying to kill Kylo like 10 years earlier? It just what part about it? I mean, like it was hokey most of the time. He didn't try solving the problem. He ran away from the problem. He was almost a cowardly assassin. Everything about the way that Luke was handled in this movie was antithetical to the way Luke was presented. And I understand that Rian Johnson wanted to deconstruct the character of Luke Skywalker to the point of turning him simply into a legend he could not live up to. And at the end of the movie, ultimately, his legend lived on. And that was, I guess, the point. But that being said, is he going to be a Force ghost in episode 9? Oh, yeah. I guarantee you, as soon as J.J. Abrams came on board, it was probably first call was like, "Hey, Mark, listen, dude, how you want to come back and like torment Kylo Ren in the next movie?" He's like, "Yeah, okay, I'll take the paycheck." Because maybe, just maybe, JJ will actually let Luke Skywalker be Luke Skywalker, even if he's just a Force ghost, right? Or they could even retcon the whole thing and Luke just didn't die. He just was able to discover teleportation or something like that. I got no idea. But ultimately, there were some huge mistakes made with this film, with this character, and the actor has clearly expressed his discontent. The fans expressed their discontent. Now, the question is, how is Disney going to rectify this, if at all? And this is what I pose to you guys. Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This has been $3 Theater. I look forward to your commentary. If you haven't already, be sure to thumbs up the video and subscribe to the channel and check back often for more content from me. And if you want to see more videos from me, especially concerning Star Wars, because I have talked at length about Star Wars recently. I just kind of want to address that real quick. I've talked a lot about Star Wars recently because obviously I do care about the franchise. I do care about the characters. I do care about the actors. I do care about the thing as a whole. And I have been critical about it because I want it to be better. I very much am trying to approach this from as objectively subjective as I possibly can. And I've read some of the comments, and there's a lot of back and forth about the movie. I just want there to be, I do really want that to be something that we can have a discussion about. I do want us to be able to look at the idea of Star Wars: The Last Jedi, as well as Force Awakens, and where things have gone since the EU was kind of abolished, and where things are going now, and realize that we can have discussions on these things. We can have conversations about them, but we should also try to keep it civil. We are all Star Wars fans here. And it's kind of like, as much as okay, so again, I'm kind of off track, and I apologize if you've gotten this far. Awesome. Like, this particular story, like, I'm not trying to take glee in what happened. You know, I'm not trying to take glee in Mark Hamill not liking the movie or not liking the portrayal of Luke Skywalker. I'm trying to just also, like, express my discontent and hope that they listen. That they listen to not only me, but you all out there who aren't fans either, and then we can go forward. But anyway, be sure to let me know your thoughts. Again, I'm sorry I ranted on for a while at the end there, and if you do want to see more videos from me, you can do so right now.